Good morning, class. Today, our lesson is about the rights and duties of man towards society. We will learn in this lesson our duties and responsibilities towards society, and it will also teach us how human rights become meaningful when we fulfill our duties and how human rights lose their meaning when violated. As members of the society or state, we must behave in a way that is good for all and which is helpful in promoting the welfare of society. We are called upon to follow the society norms and fulfill obligations or duties. We have moral and as well as legal duties. Our moral duty is to serve our parents, teachers, brothers and sisters, and our relatives, to lend a helping hand to the poor and downtrodden, to earn money by fair means, and to serve our community, our province, nation, and the world to all possible extent. Do you think, class, we practice that moral duties? Yes, we are, because as a son and daughter to our parents, it is our moral duties to serve and respect them for a lifetime. Same goes to our brother and sisters and relatives. As students to our teachers, it is our moral duty to respect, follow, listen, and do our obligations as students to them. We have no right to disrespect our teachers and vice versa. We are also bound to perform legal duties. It is our legal duty to show obedience to the Constitution, commands of law, and pay taxes regularly and honestly. That is our duties. It is also our duty to remain loyal to our country. Yes, that is right. We have to obey these legal duties because if we fail to perform these, we will be punished by the state or the government. Then it is very expensive, labi na kanang makaviolate ka nga dako ang violation fee. Diba? Sakit na sa bulsa. So, para makalikay sa violation, you have to be vigilant and aware how to prevent those. Okay? I-manage na, class. In carrying out our responsibilities towards society or state, we should be guided by the values of justice, respect for human dignity, care, and concern for others, and cooperation. Now, class, I have a question. Are you aware of your rights as a person? If yes, can you cite of an example of your rights? Yes, that's correct. One of our rights is the rights to live or to life. This right is the most fundamental of all human rights and the primary condition for all human rights, because we cannot practice all the other rights if we are deprived of these rights. Okay, another example of right is the right of freedom to speech. Okay, the freedom of speech, we are free to say anything, class, without fear. But as we enjoy our rights, we are also expected to fulfill our duties as members of the society. Another rights, class, is right to education. This is also our rights. The right to education goes beyond our right to study in a school or an institution. This rights allows us to avail of all possible means and opportunities to help us develop physically, intellectually, spiritually, and socially. It is also our parents' duty to educate and to provide us with moral formation and sound guidance to the best of their ability. It is our part as their children, as part of our, I mean, as part as their children, it is our responsibility to make the most out of our learning opportunities. We should study well and take advantage of the learning opportunities of the school. By virtue of natural moral law, each person has inalienable rights that cannot be taken away from him or her. So no one should not consider himself or herself more privileged than another, where rights are concerned, and it is our duty to make other people aware of their rights. So, people who either do not know their rights or are indifferent can become victim of abuse. So, tinuod na, most especially class those uneducated person, probably the the victim of abuse in terms of human rights is somewhere in those in mountain province. Yes, that's nice.
So we mentioned from the very beginning about human rights of a person. So let's define what is human rights. So what is human rights, class? So human rights is a fundamental claim we make on others and the society we live in. So we can live with dignity and experience a full human life. Everyone in this world, class, is entitled to basic human rights, respecting the rights of others and upholding our rights and protect our human dignity. That is the definition of human rights. So, how important the human rights for human being, class? So, human rights is very important for human being because it will help them grow more fully as persons and to attain a meaningful with others. So remember, class, that when the rights of people are respected, life in the society becomes peaceful and just. So the common good will be attained. At the present time, what we can do is to assert our human rights as we respect the rights of others at home, in our school, church, and in our local community. That is the importance of human rights. So next is next uh, next is knowing what is good. Society is composed of people with varied cultural practices and traditions. Their rights have to be respected as they should also respect yours. So meaning, so we can relate this we can relate this to the Bible verse, which is, do not do unto others what you don't others do unto you. Okay? Therefore, if you want others to respect you, you should also respect them too. Okay, next. No person is more of a human being than another, and no person is less. Essentially, we are all equal, and each of us should receive a fair treatment entitled to our human rights. Yes, correct. We have to be fair to each other. Whatever status or whatever status of lives we have, we are born equally. Therefore, we have to receive an equal treatment. But I guess, in my own opinion, class, this kind of act is thoroughly not implemented well. As you can see, most people in this country was affected of an equality treatment, most especially the lower class or the poor people. Diba? Sakto ko? That's the reality of this country. So, however, we have to look the positive side of this kind of action. Next, discrimination is a violation of an essential human right. It deprives us of dignity as a human being, as a child of God. Though we are equal, we are not identical. Each one of us is unique. But when lines are drawn to suggest that one group is better or worse than another because of race, color, sex, religion, language, political opinion, or social origin, that is discrimination. So, for example of discrimination, class, is just like what happened to Floyd George, di ba? He died because of the police brutality without without him. What is his violation, diba? So it was a uh, big news of what happened to Floyd George. But discrimination of race is very rampant in the United States. Okay, so now let's proceed to our duties and responsibilities as Filipino citizen according to the Filipino Bill of Rights. First, defend our country from enemies and invaders. So, defending one's country is like defending one's house, class. So, when just like good nga, when someone enters our house without our permission and start to destroy properties and attacks us, we have the rights to protect our lives and belongings. In the same manner, we are when our country is invaded by other foreigners or abused by other countrymen who are in power, we have the duty to defend our motherland. So, just like what happened in Scarborough Shoal or the Panatag Island. So, we have the rights to defend our property, whoever invades those property. Okay? Second, pay taxes willingly or promptly. So, taxes must be collected by the government from its citizens who are employed and have income. The government uses taxes to build roads, bridges, canals, public buildings, provide education, secure peace and order, and others. These structures are constructed for us to use. Free education is provided to give us a chance of a bright future, and we feel well protected because of law and order. As you can see, class, in present time, our government are not cautious in spending our funds, just like what happened in the Manila Bay. The DNR was spending millions just to put an artificial sand in the Manila Bay, rather than spending it to the people. Amidst a pandemic, we all know that amidst a pandemic, which most of people are suffering in poverty, hunger, and unemployment, their actions is untimely. Okay. Next, be loyal to our country. An example of that class, example, be loyal to our country is we must demonstrate gratitude and loyal toward our country. We can show thus by developing our knowledge, skills, and talents and use them to contribute to nation building. Another example that is this is for example is us who availed the free tuition or the entire or the other SUCs who are supported by the government of their program free tuition. By showing our loyalty to our country, after we graduate, we have to serve our country by working here, not in abroad or not in the other country. That is the loyalty to our country. So, another is take care and conserve our natural resources. So, our natural resources class are our main source of life. The sea, ocean, rivers, lakes, and lagoons provide us food, while trees are sources of timber and wood. We must support initiatives toward the presentation of our natural resources. Additional, in take care and conserve our national resources, where one of agency of the government, which is the DNR, was purchasing dolomite here in Cebu, which caused damage to our environment. So I don't think it was a good idea to put an artificial sand in Manila Bay. Their action is not appropriate and they're just wasting the money for nothing and it wasn't beneficial to everyone. So we as the member of the society, we have also to we are we have the right to take care and conserve our natural resources. So next is support our country toward growth and development. So we should participate in activities directed toward economic growth and sustained development. For example, if we want healthy citizens, we must avoid uh, illegal drugs and alcohol, just like what the program of our dear president. Okay, we should also practice proper recycling of materials instead of accumulating excessively. So we uh, we have to support our own product because by this we definitely help and contribute our economy by supporting our own products. Next is keep our uh, surroundings clean. So in keeping our surroundings clean, health and sanitation are both right and duty. It is your right to clean air and surroundings to prevent the spread of diseases. At the same time, it is also your duty to practice proper waste disposal. And also class segregation and proper waste disposal is the most essential way to help our surroundings clean. Okay. Next duties is study well and become a productive individual. These duties is you have the right to study and pursue a career. You have a duty to use your profession to contribute toward the growth and development of your community. So that is your duties also. Next is obey laws and maintain peace and order in the community. This duty is to obey the laws, system and regulation of your community. For example, is curfew hours are passed to guarantee the safety of everyone's. This must be obeyed consistently by everyone in the community. Next is preserve the Filipino culture and identity. It is our duty and right to preserve our Filipino heritage. We must use our own products with pride. We should also know our own culture, belief, and practices, and be able to talk about them with guests and foreigners. That is our duty also. Last is vote wisely and choose the candidates who can truly serve the people and our country. Okay, winning through elections puts candidates in power. It also gives them the responsibility to perform their duties towards society and makes them accountable to the people because they have access to the treasury of the community. They are expected to use this for the benefit of the people and not to sacrifice their well-being due to personal interests. Thus, yes, tinod na. Responsibility should be exercised by extending one's knowledge of human rights to people who are not aware and reporting violations to authorities. Concealing such violation is obstructions of human rights. And in addition, class is um, these duties, honestly, this is based on my experience. Our duties and rights to vote wasn't performed well by most people because your vote and my vote will depend on how much the politicians will pay. Okay? Either you agree with me or not, but that's the reality of voting in the Philippines. Okay? So, those are the duties and the responsibilities of the Filipino citizens according to the Bill of Rights. So, that's the end of our lesson, and I hope that you learn for today. Thank you and goodbye.